everyone. My name is Megan McCurry, and tonight I'm going to take you on a blast to the past. Before we get started, I would like to touch bases on a couple questions, such as have you ever sat back and thought about what life used to be? Maybe when things were easier, harder, or cheaper? How about have you ever thought about what things were like when you were born? Tonight, we're going to explore November 1997, which was when I was brought into this world. We're going to start with the cost of living. In November 1997, the average cost of a new house was $129,700. A loaf of bread was just $1.17. A gallon of gas was $1.22. And the average new car cost $16,900. Now, throughout the month of November, there was very many important events, and some of them I'm going to highlight here with you. On November 1st, the famous movie Titanic made its premiere at the Tokyo International Film Festival, where it starred Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet and was directed by James Cameron. On November 2nd, Typhoon Linda made its first landfall in Vietnam, where it killed 587 people, left 3,400 missing, and tens of thousands homeless. This storm caused the storm surge of 60 centimeters on the Gulf of Thailand before it hit its second landfall on November 3rd off the Gulf of Thailand. The storm then moved into the Indian Ocean, where it gained strength and obtained typhoon status once again before it made its third landfall off of Myanmar on November 6th. Now, on November 10th, the Nanny Louise Woodward case was on the headlines as the conviction was turned from second-degree murder to manslaughter. Now, this nanny was 19 when she murdered the 8-month-old baby, Matthew Eapen, from shaking him. She served just 274 days instead of the original 15 years, as the judge found her to be too confused, frustrated, immature, with somewhat anger, but yet she did not have the malice required for second-degree murder in legal terms. We then go on to November 18th, where the 1996 TWA 800 crash was addressed by the FBI, where they announced that no terrorism caused the crash. This plane crash happened on July 17, 1996, from a plane that was going from JFK to Paris. The plane made it 12 minutes into their route when they spontaneously exploded over the shores of Long Island, New York. Threats of terrorism were immediate, as people claimed that they saw things flying at the plane right before it exploded. This caused the FBI to interview 755 people or more in regards to finding out what actually happened, with terrorist suspects including Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi. It was ultimately concluded that the crash and explosion were due to a spark in the fuel tank. On November 19th, the second record-born septuplets, all alive, occurred in Des Moines, Iowa, to a woman named Bobby McCoffey. This was the first set of septuplets to all survive infancy, with all 7 being alive in 2007. Now, on November 20th, a new species was confirmed and established by a woman named Johannes Haile Selassie. She found a partial skull which indicated a 2.5 million year old ancestor called Australopithecus gari in Bar, Middle Awash, Ethiopia. Now, for you sports fanatics out there, there's always sports highlights in the news, so we're going to go over some of those highlights for November 1997. We're going to start on November 2nd with the 27th and 28th New York City Marathon for the women and men, with the winners from Switzerland of Franziska Rochat Moser and Ron Kagwe from Kenya. And the U.S. beat Japan 23-13 at the LPGA Nichiri International. On November 3rd, Boston shortstop Nomar Garciaparra was a 6th unanimous American League Rookie of the Year. David Duval wins the Champions Golf Club Championship, and the Phillies' third baseman Scott Rowland was a unanimous Rookie of the Year for the National League. On November 5th, Davey Johnson was awarded American League Manager of the Year. On November 6th, San Francisco Giants' Dusty Baker was awarded National League Manager of the Year. On November 8th, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays nominated or appointed their first manager of Larry Rothschild. And the Breeders' Cup championships included Countless Diana, Elmhurst, Agenia, Spinning World, Favorite Trick, Chief, Bear Heart, and Skip Away. On November 9th, Liselott Nantman won the LPGA Tour in Japan Queen's Cup. November 11th, Roger Clemens was awarded his 4th ever American League Cy Young Award. On November 12th, Dick Vitale signed with ESPN through the year 2004, and Pedro Martinez was awarded the New York Cy Young Award. National League Cy Young Award. On November 13th, Ken Griffey Jr. was awarded the American League MVP in a unanimous vote. On November 14th, Colorado Rockies' Larry Walker was awarded the National League MVP. On November 16th, the 85th CPL Grey Cup ended in Toronto beating the Saskatchewan 47-25, and the 47th NASCAR Sprint Cup was won by Jeff Gordon. On November 17th, Mario Lewandowski was nominated to the NHL Hall of Fame. On November 18th, the Mavericks' AC Green tied Randy Smith's NBA record for 906 consecutive games, and on November 20th, he set the record for 907 consecutive games. Also on November 20th, the Flyers' Eric Lindros tried to bite San Jose defenseman Marty McSorley, and the last original Florida Marlins, Jeff Carline, was traded to the KC Royals. On November 22nd, there was a 60-second Iron Bowl, which resulted in Auburn beating Alabama 18-17 in Auburn. And on the 27th, Lions' Barry Sanders was awarded NFL's second all-time rusher. And on the 30th, the 86 Dons Cup resulted in Sweden sweeping the U.S. in Gothenburg 5-0. I hope you all had fun with your blast of the past to me tonight, and I hope you really learned to reflect on where we've been and where we're going. Thank you, and have a wonderful night.